the cool takeaway for me would be that you should shoot on virtual production, and we should make it affordable and accessible so that it's not something that like you just have to do via an educational sample or pay a lot out of pocket, because it's a pretty awesome tool.
Great technology.
Yeah.
This is the Cinematography for Actors podcast.
More than a podcast, Cinematography for Actors is a vibrant community devoted to bridging the gap between talent and crew. Each week, our show offers transparent, insightful conversations with industry leaders. We unveil the magic behind the scenes, from candid discussions about unique filmmaking processes to in-depth technical exploration. Join us in unraveling the intricacies of filmmaking one episode at a time. It's more than just cameras and lenses. We aim to inspire, educate, and empower as we peel back the curtain on the art of effective storytelling. Now on to the episode.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another Cinematography for Actors podcast. I am your host and also one of the filmmakers represented in this interview, so I'm going to be doing both things. I'm Indiana Underhill, and I am joined with a wonderful cast and crew here. We have John Michael Riva Jr., director and writer of Doomscroll, which is what we're going to be talking about. We have Ariana Pedrique, which is our wonderful actor, and as well another wonderful actor, Jack T. Gibson, who you know is behind the switcher and doing some of our interviews, but is now center stage here on the couch. Welcome, everyone. Hi.
We wear a lot of hats here.
Yeah.
A lot of hats.
I am so excited that CFA can represent Doomscroll, which is premiering here today at Mammoth Film Festival.
Yay.
So this is awesome. I have always wanted to. I was the DP on this project, and I always wanted to DP a short that was this short. Mikey, can you talk about, compared to Terry, which we were on this podcast last about, which was 20 minutes, 6 minutes short. How does that change as a director?
How does it change? Gosh,
workflow.
It feels great, because anything for me that's over like 15 minutes, I'm just sitting in the cutting room, just like, oof.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I hate to say that,
Yeah.
but very proud of that film. And even though it's 21 minutes, very stoked to have that be its thing.
Yeah.
But for a 6-minute teaser, proof of concept, everything changes. The shooting days change, the attitude changes. It's flashier, it's shinier, it's faster, and it's harder. I got to say, it's a little harder.
You have to sell it quicker.
You have to sell the story. You got to tie all the bows quick. You don't have 21 minutes to be like, no, we got time.
Wow.
This character can arc in a little bit, but like if you have 6 minutes and 4 characters, like you got to be quick.
You're right.
You know?
That's what I wanted to ask you, actually.
Yeah.
Like, did you have trouble choosing which scenes you wanted to show on those 5 minutes?
Totally. And that like is a great way to say that this is based off a feature. So I stole like 6 pages from a feature, made it into like a 6-minute thing. So yeah, it's hard to choose, no doubt. It's also hard to like not include things that you want to include. You know, it's like a weird way to articulate that. But again, like having 4 characters that you got to tie the bow in 6 minutes is like rough.
Yeah.
But great. It's a good exercise.
Now, Ari, you're a very experienced actor. You've been in movies. You've been in very famous episodic television. Working on, this was shot in a virtual production volume, so everyone knows, but working in like short form like this with Mikey for the first time directing you. How did this experience differ from the other ones? What was unique about this one?
You know, I think that's a great question, because every project is completely different depending on the team of people that you're working with. And this team in particular, and it's not because you guys are here, but it was so cool to work with you. Literally, I'm being honest. Like I loved the script. I remember reading it and I was just laughing already. And I was intrigued. I wanted to know more, which I know was very important. And this was a whole new experience for me. Like you said, this was my first time working at a virtual set. It was pretty cool. I think it actually helped me, because you didn't have to work your imagination so much. You could actually see, the whole set surrounding you. So it was it was like effortless, fun. Yeah, it was an awesome experience.
Amazing. And Jack, this was your first role ever.
Yeah.
What was
First
that
timer.
like?
Yeah. It was wild. I mean, it was definitely a cool experience having been on the other side of the camera.
We have some exciting news.
CFA has teamed up with We Make Movies to get you a discount on production management services, including access to comprehensive production insurance and workers' comp for your next shoot. Visit wemakemovies.org/insurance and use code CFA23 on your intake form for 10% off your quote.
And being able to like step into that other side was very incredible and very, very educational. And I really enjoyed it and loved it. And I was so grateful for the opportunity. It was specifically cool because it was a lot of firsts. It was my first time on the other side of the camera, but it was also my first time on either side of the camera working on in virtual production. And I feel really grateful that I got to experience my first role on a virtual production, which was so helpful. You know, as we've talked about before, like the idea of acting for a tennis ball is a lot harder when, you know, I'm trying to figure my shit out and I don't have to guess so much what I'm even if you know you're shooting and I'm looking away from the volume, like I still know what it looks like behind me and I can picture that continuation for what I'm looking at, which is cool.
And to paint a picture, it would be that or green screen.
Right.
And green screen is like a void of green.
Yeah, it's just like it's all imagination.
Imagination.
Yeah.
Right.
And now we featured like multiple locations in 6 minutes. So we built a living room out. We built a pirate ship and a beach. So for all of those within the same like 8x10, you know, set. So for all of those, how did your direction change knowing that performance-wise, they're kind of stuck in the same spot?
Yeah.
Like how does that change and know when the blocking really is limited to a small space?
Yeah, because you have basically like this carpet, which I don't know if the camera can see, but it's like 10x10, and it's like wearing a VR headset. If you move too far, it'll warn you like, hey, watch out, bud.
Yeah.
So it's like I had to remind myself too, which helped because then I reminded them like, hey, we're on a pirate ship.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh yeah, right. Like, of course we're seeing it because it's around us, but I'm just like, okay, this is moving, you know? And like also having to remind them emotionally, like, okay, we're here. You were just in a living room. Like, let's be equally like freaked out about it. Which is like normal stuff. So it wasn't too different for me. It was just like the space stuff, but they did a great job. These two actors are wonderful with just like receiving notes and just pivots, you know, and just little tweaks. Really good listeners, which I love. Yeah. I love listening.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, what are if with one word or maybe like one line, what is the biggest takeaway you want people to have from Doomscroll?
Biggest takeaway.
Maybe each of you could answer.
Yeah, I'll give my short answer and I'll let them talk. I think I love horror films that have humor in them. So if you're a little scared and you laugh a little, like I think I did my job.
Great.
Blending that genre is kind of scary, but if you do it right, it works. And some of my favorite movies have that. So I want you to be spooked and I want you to giggle.
Great. Ari, how about you?
I think I also want them to want to know more, to be intrigued,
Well
to be
said.
like, oh, this was so fun.
What's next?
Exactly.
Yeah. Jack.
Well, since they both addressed story elements, I think the cool takeaway for me would be that you should shoot on virtual production and we should make it affordable and accessible so that it's not something that like you just have to do via an educational sample or pay a lot out of pocket because it's a pretty awesome tool.
Great technology.
Yeah.
Great answer.
Thank you so much for joining us today for the CFA podcast for this short little episode.
Of course.
We are so excited to watch it today at the
Yay.
world premiere at Mammoth Film Festival. Thanks, everybody.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Join us in bridging the gap between talent and crew. Start by subscribing on your preferred podcast platform, sign up for our newsletter to stay up to date on vendor discounts, community events, and new podcast releases, and educate yourself through our free course releases on YouTube. It all starts at cinematographyforactors.com. And if you like this episode, consider leaving a review to make it easier for other listeners to find us.